All right, we'll call the meeting to order for the Brookings County Commission for November 15th, 2016. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'd open an invitation for a citizen to schedule a time on the commission agenda. It's not listed or anything. Okay, we'll move on to agenda. Approval of agenda. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
Just in front of you this morning, I handed out a couple of different things. There's an additional claim, nothing extraordinary about it. It's just another claim that got added into this pay cycle so we could get it paid, and then a personnel action notice for Jim Sampson to get approved. Other than that, I don't have any changes.
Okay, and those will be added to the consent agenda items there. So anything else changed on the agenda? All right, I will approve the agenda as written. Consent agenda, approval of minutes, approval of travel and education requests, approval of human resources report. Look for a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Discussion on the consent agenda. We added the two changes there. Stacy, there. Any other changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Routine business, approval of claims. Look for a motion.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, department head reports. Robert, would you like to start us, please?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
On the county development side, I attended a Big Sioux River Basin stakeholder meeting in Sioux Falls on November 1st. We will be discussing that later in a drainage board meeting, which we're required to have twice a year. November 6th to 12th, I was in Anniston, Alabama. They did actually work November 11th, which surprised me, and I did graduate with my incident commander diploma and another hands-on training for sea-burn incidents, which is actually entering a gas chamber with a mask and chemical agents. Gives you confidence that your protective equipment does work. November 10th, Deputy Director Hagen attended the PPCC meeting for both you and us, for the commission and for me, since I was out of town. Everything went well there. Yesterday, I went over to Huron, talked with Northwestern Energy, and I had some ID cards made for my Brookings radio that we use in emergencies. And I also had an ID card made for Commissioner Krugman, which I'll give to you after the meeting. Yesterday afternoon, I came back and there was a Department of Transportation / Highway Patrol winter coordination meeting over at the DOT offices in Brookings. Sheriff Stanwick was at that meeting also. The state of South Dakota has passed out 2 books for second grade teachers. One of them's titled Winter Weather Awareness, and the other one's titled Tornado Alert, which we'll be getting out to the second grade teachers throughout all the schools in Brookings County. And we'll cover. That's all I have at this time. We do have a SLA meeting, state and local agreement is later in the agenda, and a drainage meeting. Any questions on this part?
Nope. All right, thank you. Chris.
Morning.
Morning.
Very brief for me today. We had that owner-occupied application that Stephanie had sent me and Stacy had sent me as well, with the child that lived in the residence and the parent's name. I did some inquiring with the Department of Revenue, sent them all the information, asked for their feedback. My initial gut said they do not qualify. Howdy Shell responded back to me, said, no, they do not. He said, no different than if my parents bought a house and let me live in it. So I called them and notified them, had a long conversation with them, and she said, yeah, I understand, but we thought we'd try. And she said, how do we get it changed? The intent is there. I said, get a hold of your legislators. Next day, Howdy Shell sends me an email and calls me on the phone and says, I think I gave you bad information. There's an administrative rule from 1995 hanging out there that interprets the law to say that the beneficiary of a trust is considered the owner. Unknown to me, kind of unknown to him. He said, I remembered reading it, and I did some more digging. He had to go through basically archived of administrative rules to find it. So I've recontacted her and said, in fact, you are going to get it. And I didn't require any more paperwork because of that hassle. Anything else that comes forward like this, now that I'm aware of it, if somebody comes in and says, hey, my child is a beneficiary, I need to see the documentation stating that the trust is laid out, who the members of the trust are, and that you are listed as a beneficiary. Otherwise, like we talked about, every child is a beneficiary of their parents regardless of, and they're going to inherit. So, and that's not the intent of the law. So they have been contacted. I have applied it for 17 pay 18, so they are going to get it. Next thing is we've got our audit scheduled. Karina is going to be here from November 29th through the 1st. We've uploaded all of our sales. There's about 1,400 and some sales or transfers we uploaded. She sent us back her first scrub list of what she's asking for more clarification. We're cleaning that up now to what we couldn't find. So we'll be ready for her when she comes. Other than that, we are finishing up our building permit season, and as soon as we get through the bulk of those and at least our sales versus assessed properties, we'll be starting our sales analysis. So plug it on.
All right. Any questions?
Thank you for your diligence on that.
Thank you for update on it, too. Thank you. All right, Vicki.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You should have received in your packet the finance officer's report for October. And the be it noted items, auditor's account with the treasurer, payroll and additives total, highway expenditure report, and the register of deeds statement of fees. So those are the be it noted items. And also, with the surplus cash, we are at 42.65%, which is pretty much in the middle of where we have been. Anywhere from 37 to 47% is when you look back on the years. So we're right in the middle of that. So I think we're looking good on surplus cash. And also included in your packet was a letter that they are requesting chairman of the commission to sign, just saying that the TIF is paid off, and that is just something, it's a formality that we have to send into the Department of Revenue. And also there was a letter from the bank stating that it's paid off too, so that's just a formality to send in. And one question I have is we are looking at getting ready to start with a surplus sale again. It won't be till next year, but we are looking to get a hold of departments to see what there is available, and just wanted to know your feeling if you think it's okay to go ahead with the online auction like we did in the past. Just kind of getting your consensus.
I think so.
Pardon me? I had no problem. Okay. Yeah, I think that it went very well, and we will kind of start that, and we will come to you after we get the news out to the department heads and set a date, set the dates and, keep you informed, but we will start that process. So.
Vicki, I got a quick question.
Yep.
It was paid, that TIF was paid in 2015. Why are we a year later, almost a year and a half later?
Right, because the first year it was still on the books as far as the abstract had been sent to Pierre for the 16 year for this year. So it was already on the books. So we didn't take it off because the abstract had been approved, and according to Department of Revenue, they wanted us to do it this way and keep it on there. We still got the money for the TIF, but we went through and we apportioned that all out just like it was tax money. So the schools and the townships and everything got their money.
And so now that will be fully assessed and fully taxable now because the TIF has been paid off, and so those funds that were used for the TIF now will come to us.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Right, and they did in 16 too, but it's just, on the tax notice, it still showed that it went to the TIF, and then we just had to manually apportion it out. But now this year, it will be just like any of the other taxes. It will be right in the system.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
yep. And we did send out our delinquent letters the end of last week, so we've had some calls with everybody getting the letters that, you know, just if there's any questions or problems, or maybe they aren't the ones supposed to be paying the taxes. So we've been answering those questions. And we did get a call last week that the state auditors are coming this week. So we did send them electronically our financial statements and minutes. So they are in the process of looking at those, and I'm looking for them to be here today. They'll be in the conference room. We got everything moved downstairs from the election and the big table back in the room, so we are ready for the audit. And they will be here probably through the end of the year. So any questions?
Questions? No.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on the elections.
Yep,
Turned
thanks.
out great.
And again, everybody did a good job, and thanks to Sean for coming and working with us. Stacy delivered some of the e-poll books, and, you know, we just had everybody kind of working. And the highway department, thank you for letting us use your pickup, and for also supplying two guys for delivering the equipment and taking the equipment down, and it makes a big difference, so we appreciate that.
Everything I heard was fantastic. You know, the lines went through smoothly. Nobody had to wait a ton,
everything
and went well. So again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Please thank your staff as well.
Yes, and they did a great job, so we will do that.
All right, Sheriff. All right, sounds good.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
The bridge project north of Bruce and south of Esteline on Highway 7, they closed the road last evening, so they'll be starting on that very soon. The project engineer for that is John Ritterhouse out here at the DOT, and he is probably the person that I would go to if we have any questions. So if you feel more comfortable calling me, I can certainly get the answer for you. If not, you can call John directly if there's something more immediate. Finishing touches are being done at the shop on Sinai. We'll be seeding the area today and touching up the gravel. I attended the safety workshop last week in Pier. Very good topics, and probably a little bit of everything or something for everyone would be a better way to describe it. And then if someone happens to ask you about the markings on the bridge on Highway 6, that's our rehabilitation project. They're out there testing the surface to see what extent of the work will have to be done to prep the thing for the overlay or the seal, epoxy seal. And so it looks kind of like the kids are out there having vandalism practice. There's orange lines all over, but if they ask, that's what it's intended to be. And then this week we're preparing the equipment and test running it. So in case we do get inclement weather this weekend, we'll be ready. Paving is done. That's between our truck shed and Beta office. This afternoon I'll be going to do the TS&L inspections for the bridge grants that were awarded last year as far as preliminary engineering. And that basically is a tour site locations inspection. And now that Banner has did the preliminary engineering, now Cody Oxland from the South Dakota DOT, he will come out and verify that that will be a good fit. What Banner came up with for a good design for those structures to be replaced, they verify, they look at the site, they make sure that everything's on the up and up, so to speak, so that that new bridge will be be a good fit for what's going on. If it isn't, which is pretty rare, but if it isn't, then the state would come back with some alternatives that need to be incorporated. And that's pretty minor, but it's moving forward, and it's good to see it get done yet while the weather is nice. Later this week, I'll meet with the insurance adjuster to finish up the fire damage claim for our Quonset buildings. The banner coming to talk about 213th Street, I rescheduled for December 6th at 9:30. So that won't be anything other than a heads up on that. And the manholes on 34th Avenue are being addressed. BMU will be putting some temporary fix to it right now. There's kind of a muddy water situation that needs to be ironed out before any permanent fix is done, but that should start next spring or summer. So it's hopefully going to be making it easier so we don't hit one of the dumb things, but that's all I have. Congratulations, Your Honor.
All right. Anything for Dick? All right. Thank you. Mike?
Good morning. Now the elections are over. Congratulations to all that had won.
Thank you.
And better luck next time to the rest. I think it actually went pretty well, so I was pretty happy with that part. I'd like to first start off with thanking the commissioners and Ryan in particular for doing the presentation of the Korean War Memorial medals to the people that were here. We have some really good pictures, and I think it was everyone was very appreciative of what took place. What also did yesterday was the paper did come up, and we had Mr. Bose and a few of the other ones for the quilt, and they took some pictures. I unfortunately had a noon meeting that day, and I missed it, but I got here right at the end, and so I think that went very well also. Okay, as far as the rest of it, on the 7th, I did go to the Brookings Chamber of Commerce Veterans Affairs meeting. They have one the first Monday of every month, and I've been attending those. The 8th, I did go to the Salvation Army meeting, and I will be attending all of those in the future. That has everyone except for the domestic violence shelter, as far as groups that provide assistance to low-income people or people in need in the area. So that's a good addition, and thank you for suggesting that to me earlier about being a part of those. The 8th, I also went to a DAV meeting. The 9th, I had one of the students from SDSU shadow me, and we went around to a couple of assisted living places to collect some paperwork to get some of our veterans that are in assisted living on pension programs. The 14th, I gave a presentation at the Noon Lions Club, and also I did go to the County Legion meeting on the 14th in White last night. And we had 80 calls in, 59 calls out. 8 welfare people stopped in, and 12 on the veteran side. So.
Okay. Questions for Mike? All right, thank you. All right. Well, we'll move on to regular business. Letter A, action to approve the 2017 liquor license renewals. Look for a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. Discussion.
Let me get back. I see ABR was in there, right? Let me get to the page.
Yep.
I think there's a statute. Were they open this year? Isn't there a statute that you have to be active a certain amount of time to be using your license? You can't have a license being held. And I'm not even sure. I thought ABR wasn't open this year.
I believe it was open this summer.
Okay, well, that's fine. There is something about you can't sit on them in statute. There's a certain length of time, use it or lose it kind of thing. So that's fine.
Okay. There was, I'm not sure if that's the one that wasn't open.
Well, they switched. They did a switch. So, yeah.
They had, yeah.
Right, the license went back to
Right.
Norgard.
Right.
It
Okay.
was under, Cubby's had the license
Right.
in the summer of
Yeah.
2015 and it was transferred back. And I do believe it was open this summer.
Yeah, I just didn't make it up there this summer, and no offense to Mark, that didn't mean to slam. I just wasn't aware if it was open.
Because I'd heard the same, that it wasn't open either. Okay, any further discussion? So basically, since these have not had any violations of their license or that kind of thing, we can basically rubber stamp them as they continue to go through, correct?
Correct, yep, no violations at all, so this is just,
So we
Just
don't have to have a public hearing.
no public hearing.
All right. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter B, action to approve agreement 16-96, a jail bed per diem contract between Brookings County and Minnehaha County from November 1st, 2016 through December 31st of 2017.
Motion approved. Second.
Second. Okay, discussion. Marty, comments on this? No, it's just a routine. They have no space. Yeah. So basically, get the contract in place just in case we need it.
They're starting to do things differently. They hold one like 24/7 violations. If we don't get them right away, now they're starting to bill me. They bill me at the higher price. So they bill me for the first 12 hours. So we try to get down there and get the individual right away. If I didn't have a contract, they'd bill me at a larger rate.
Okay. Good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter C, an action to approve agreement 16-97, a letter of contract for engineering services between Brookings County and Banner and Associates, Inc. to develop an asphalt ordinance for mill and overlay projects. I'd look for a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? See, Dick had to step out there. This is normal.
This is kind of a new deal,
This is new.
This is new.
just to make sure everybody's on the same page. And
Okay.
The reason
Is
for
this in
it,
his budget?
the reason for it is so that we have uniform
specs.
specs on asphalt.
So as soon as he's bidding, everybody knows what they're bidding according to the bid. So
Sounds good.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Jensen,
aye,
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter D, action to approve agreement 16-98, a bridge improvement grant funding agreement for BRF 60300016-5 Brookings County, PCN 05QR. Look for a motion.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Second. Okay, discussion. So this one is for the improvement or the rehabilitation.
This is for the rehabilitation grant.
rehab.
Yep.
So, okay. Anybody know, I mean, when we're getting started on that or what they're,
Well, Dick just said in
That
his
had that.
report they've started on
They've
that
already
already,
started, but-
because this is the one on County Road 6. He was just talking about that
they
during his
marked it up, are
report
they
that
going to
they're
start
marking
right
up.
away? We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Weather permitting, I guess. It'd have to be.
Yeah.
All right. Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter E, action to approve agreement 16-99, an application for occupancy of right-of-way of county highways made by Sioux Valley Energy. I look for a motion.
Move approval.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, discussion. Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter F, an action to approve agreement 16-100, an application for occupancy of right-of-way for county highways made by Sioux Valley Energy.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, please call the roll.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter G, an action to approve agreement 16-0, 101, an application for occupancy of right-of-way for county highways made by Sioux Valley Energy.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Jensen,
Aye.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
H, update on emergency management state and local agreement. Mr. Hill.
Motion approved.
Oh, I don't think we have an action
Oh, okay.
item on it. We're just giving an
Sorry.
update.
Okay.
Well, I approve the update, though.
Yeah, you haven't had it yet.
Approved, Bob.
Good morning again. The state and local agreements, an agreement that gets sent out by the Office of Emergency Management on a yearly basis. This is fiscal year 2017 for the feds. They do go on a federal basis. And I'll just go over so everyone's aware of what's in the SLA. We won't go into real super depth because of time constraints, but it goes by emergency management functions, and the very first one's EMF 1, administration and finance, and number one is brief county commissioners on SLA work plan. So this meets that criteria, so I can check that block. And basically, it's the same as every other year. We have to do our quarterly report at the end of each federal fiscal quarter and submit that to the regional coordinator, who ours is Dave Batima in Mitchell, within 15 days following the quarter. So 15 days after the end of the federal quarter. And EMF 4, which is the second one, is this year they've changed it. Instead of having our pre-disaster mitigation plan updated every 5 years, that's still in effect, but now they want us to have a pre-disaster mitigation meeting yearly, just to see if there's any changes to it so we could update because the pre-disaster mitigation plan can be updated as often as needed. So this year they're dictating that we have a yearly meeting on that, and I'll get that started, that process. And then the next one is a local emergency operations plan meeting with stakeholders. And what we'll do is we'll roll all those meetings into one big meeting. You know, when we get ready to do the PDM, most of the PDM people are also on the LEOP. So, but we'll review the LEOP, and then we'll have a meeting with the members and see what we want to do. And things such as shelters, we have to update our shelters. You know, the city of Brookings is going to destroy their city storm shelter, so we'll have to figure out what the new one's going to be there so we can put that into our report, because the state does want that stuff reported. EMF 8 is resource management and logistics. Basically, it's making ID cards, keeping track of our equipment, and by state law, I have to have a county contact list due every January 31st, so we're working on that now so we can get it turned in. Well, not yet. I'm waiting until January to do it. But and then we got a township list, which is required, and then we got a municipal contact list. And of course, we work with the finance office on all these lists because they get the packets from the municipals and from the townships to update. And it states I will meet yearly with elected officials on the purpose of implementing the LEOP. And this particular type of briefing is what I'll give to local communities. And I've got a checklist that I go down. It's called elected officials briefings. I'll go to each city council that will have me and give them the same briefing I'm giving you. It might be a little different. And then, but they do want us to meet in their jurisdiction. They don't want me to call a meeting in Brookings and have everybody come here. They want me to attend their council meetings wherever they meet. And then training, there is several different courses which we do have to take, and me and Mr. Hoggins got a good track on that already. And exercises, we have to have one full-scale exercise. This year, they are looking at us going to Mitchell with the dive team. And I'll work with the sheriff's office and the fire department and see if we can, whoever's got the dive team responsibility in Brookings County, we're looking at just taking them over there and in whatever lake that is around Mitchell. They're going to have a full-scale exercise, and they'll just plug our county team into with the rest of them, just like a regular full-scale exercise. Next year, in 2018, we will probably have a pipeline exercise similar to the one we had in 2013, which Commissioner Miller attended. And then there's they want us to deal with mutual aid, talk about mutual aid resources. The majority of mutual aid in Brookings County is done through the fire departments. And it's basically hands off in my office. They've got them all set up, and they call them. The mutual aid that I would have would be with like the ULC, United Living Center, that's got the generator. We've got mutual aid agreements with them, and Swiftel Center. A lot of those agreements go through the PPCC, which we are part of, and the pod. Crisis communications and public information, we have to do our outreach. This year, as I stated in my staff report, they do have children's books geared towards second graders that they sent out, and we'll be giving those to the second grade teachers and let them hopefully explain that to other people. I have to do outreach. I'll be on the radio probably tomorrow doing winter weather preparedness, since we do have a storm possibly coming in. And I'm talking to the Lions Club or someone later this month. And my office is always open to go out and talk to anybody that wants a briefing from emergency management or the county development side. Operational planning, we have to do a local capability assessment report, and that has already been implemented and started, and we'll go from there. And last but not least, they want us to do our incident management, and that's develop the emergency operations center capabilities, and we're still working on that. We've had a good progress on that within the last 3 years. Any questions?
Oh,
Thank you.
great. Great report.
You're welcome. And I think I'm still here after this.
All right, yeah, you might as well stay. We got a few for you here, so. All right, letter I, action to approve resolution 16-31, plat of lots 6, 7, and 8, block 1 of Pearson Overby addition, in addition to the government lot 4 in section 22, township 112 north, range 47 west of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion.
This particular plat was heard at our November 6th planning and zoning, or I guess 8th planning and zoning meeting, and sent to this board with a recommendation of approval.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter J, action to approve resolution 16-32 of plat of lot 1 of Matson addition, in the southeast quarter of section 32, township 112 north, range 52 west of 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Look for a motion.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion.
Once again, this was on November 1st. I got my dates mixed up last time. The November 1st planning and zoning meeting recommended that it be sent to this board with a recommendation of approval.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter K, action to approve resolution 16-33, a plat of lot 1 of Gephardt addition, southeast quarter of section 11, township 109 north, range 48 west of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion.
Once again, we heard it on November 1st and sent it to this board with a recommendation of approval.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Letter L, an action to approve resolution 16-34, a plat of lot 8 of Ramlow Shores, its subdivision, in government lot 4, section 21, township range 112 north, township 112 north, range 47 west of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Look for a motion.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
We heard this November 1st and sent to this board with a recommendation of approval.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Jensen,
Aye.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right. Letter M, action to approve resolution 16-35, a resolution approving the annexation of territories by the city of Brookings. I'd look
So
for a
moved.
motion. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
Where exactly is that? I have been racking my brain trying to figure out exactly where that is.
It is.
The map's
Oh,
Oh, here
there
we
we go.
Good morning, Board of County Commissioners. My name is Stacy Bungard. I'm the city planner, and I will attempt to answer the questions that you have. So basically, the land is right between Bluegill and Hillside Mobile Home Park. It's a 30-foot wide strip of land contained within 2 parcels, and both of the property owners have petitioned for annexation.
Gotcha. So is it going, how far are they going down? Are they going halfway through the section there from 20th Street to the south? Or are they going all the way down to the property line to the softball fields?
No, it's just a 30-foot wide strip. It's just essentially on the map what's highlighted,
Oh, that little chunk there, okay.
just a very small portion
Small
of
portion
land.
of it. Okay. Gotcha, okay. So is the stuff to the north then already in city limits?
Yes,
Gotcha, okay. The stuff to the south, is that in city limits?
yes.
Okay.
I wonder how in the world that little strip got left out.
I believe it was a simple oversight.
Okay.
That's what, okay.
Little
Okay.
fold in the map, Lake
Well, that-
Wobegon, you know.
That helps me a great deal because I thought, where is this?
All right. I didn't know I was looking at the yellow lines and I didn't know if that was the cutoff from where we were going or if that was the piece. So, okay, gotcha.
It's nice to meet you too, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, number 9, Drainage Board meeting. I need a motion to recess.
I
Brookings
will
or just,
move that we recess and reconvene as the Drainage Board.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. We are now the County Drainage Board.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Under South Dakota codified law, the Drainage Board is required to meet twice a year, and this is our hopefully second meeting of the year. The first thing for the Drainage Board is November 16th, which is tomorrow. There's a FEMA discovery meeting in Brookings. They're looking at all the FEMA floodplain maps. Of course, we updated ours last in 2008, and now they've got a new flyover called LIDAR, which is a fancy flyover, different than our flyover. They've got it down to 2 meters. The old one was 10 meters, and we couldn't do anything with flood development at the 10-meter level, but at the 2-meter level, they can actually start giving us some base flood elevations. And Brookings County right now is currently a unnumbered floodplain, which means we don't know what the base flood elevations are unless an engineer goes out there and shoots it for us. So FEMA is trying to get a process done where if you click on a map, it will give you a base flood elevation of that area using that LIDAR image, which is already purchased by the state of South Dakota a couple years ago. So no money towards us. Whether or not it's going to hurt our citizens or help our citizens, I don't know. I guess we'll find out at this discovery meeting. We've passed maps out to all the communities in Brookings. The city of Brookings has been involved in the meetings from the beginning, but the smaller towns, we passed those flood maps out to each one of the finance clerks or city clerks, and got a meeting tomorrow, and we'll see what happens from there. And we'll keep this board obviously informed from both sides, the drainage board side and the planning side, because the county development department takes care of the floodplain. I'm the floodplain manager for Brookings County, the non-jurisdictional areas. And then the other part of the meeting was, and Mr. Gilbertson, Jay Gilbertson, has been part of developing a hydraulic and we won't even go there, model of the Big Sioux River Basin. And he did say if you want further information, he'd be more than happy to at any time come in and give you a detailed briefing on it. My briefing's going to be short, sweet, and simple. That we had a meeting in Sioux Falls. Banner's associate is on the project team. A company called Respect is actually the lead people out of Rapid City. Iowa Flood Center, they've already got a real good web-based system where you can click on a map and it would tell you the stream levels and everything. And then a company called David Ford Consulting Engineers. Yeah, keep going. There, that's where I just read. Those are the team members. And then one more. Yeah, this is what they're planning on getting sooner or later. And they want to make a model such as a GIS. It's going to be basically a GIS map that you can click and get real-time flood information. When do we expect the river to crest? Who do we expect to be? It actually projected to give you some maps to show the levels using the LiDAR, once again, like they're going to, like FEMA's using. This is two different separate things now, don't forget. FEMA's using the same information these people are using, but FEMA's for cost prevention and flood insurance and all that, and then this is real time for like emergency managers to use in fighting flood. Go one more slide. What they have to do is, the big thing about statewide drainage, they keep talking about where there are no lines on drainage. Drainage doesn't stop at a county line or a state line. And here you can see various rivers and streams. They've got different peaks, but they all go into one place, and that's the Sioux City, Iowa, is where they end up at. So basically what they're doing is they're starting from Sioux City, Iowa, and going up north to Watertown. Yeah, and go to the pretty color map. One more. Right there. This is what's going to end up happening sooner or later. This is out of the flood. Iowa's doing this for several others, such as Davenport and whichever town this is. Well, this is a Skunk Creek. And what it's got there, you can view maps by river stage. And then we're going to jump all the way over to go down several pages. I don't have pages on this, to where there's a bunch of calibration sites. We have a calibration site in Brookings County, right there. You can see we've got the one up by Bruce at 202nd Street, and then we got the one at the Brookings-Moody County line. Those are the two gauges I read whenever the Big Sioux River is flooding up north coming down our way. We can read those gauges and pretty much figure out what's going to happen. Brookings basically is not a big player in this whole situation because we don't have the flooding that Watertown and everyone. One more slide. They've selected 5 communities in the area to have the heavy-duty analysis done to it. And I think Brandon might be taking off in some other community putting a list. I think they're looking at Del Rapids, something north of Sioux Falls. But these are areas that's been identified as flooding quite regularly. And so they want to get those end-of-nation maps and everything to show where the water was spread out and all that. Basically, when we get flooded, it's because we've got a heavy rainfall event, and there's nothing, no matter what maps we've got, we know what's going to flood and what's not, and it's up to the city floodplain managers to know what's there and hopefully either buy out the land and make parks or do whatever the city wants to do. And that's all the cities in Brookings County. In this particular case, Bruce and the city of Brookings is directly impacted, but neither one of them gets enough flood damage to warrant being on this list at this time. It's not to say it can't be done. And what happened is they got some kind of federal grant to pay for all this, and this is all the money they got, is these 5 communities. So, and in the timeline, they've started already. They've got so much of this done. They're using the HEC-RAS model as a Corps of Engineer model that they're using, and then they think they're going to be done within 2 years. And then the very last page, they talk about the segments they're going to be doing. Brookings to the headwaters, that's north of Watertown. Sioux Falls to Brookings, Akron to Sioux Falls, and then the Missouri River up to Akron. And then
Bob, what's considered the headwaters? Where does it start? Is that just north Watertown? Is it up to Aberdeen? Or?
It's not as far as Aberdeen, I don't believe it. It's north of Watertown. I guess I don't have that I can get that information for you.
That's not a big
deal. I can contact Jay
just,
Gilbertson. And
just more curious, I guess. I didn't know where.
I just know it's north of Watertown. I've never, 6 Mile Creek, I could take you and show you where the hole in the ground is for 6 Mile Creek. But I can't the Big Sioux River.
And so that's the Big Sioux River headwaters, what we're talking about.
Yep.
Works its way down.
What's known as the Big Sioux River floodplain.
Yep.
If you look on a map.
Okay.
And that's basically what they put out. I mean, it's going to be the important thing for us is that we got our calibration stations and we use those. Those are USGS gauges. So Brookings County, typically, if they have to put a new gauge in, they're coming to communities to ask for assistance. I don't think anything from what I saw out of the meeting they're going to be asking for anything additional than what we already pay for. We do have the one up by Bruce, and we got the one at Moody County, and I'm thinking First Planning District probably pays, not First Plan, East Dakota Water Development District probably pays to maintain those sites. I'm not 100% sure with the taxes that we pay. You know, we pay a drainage or water development district tax every year.
What time is that meeting tomorrow with FEMA?
I want to say it's 10 o'clock, but I can find out before your meeting's over, the exact time.
And that you said it's the discovery meeting, so are they presenting the floodplain, or are they?
They came in and gave us a bunch of maps, and now they're coming back in. They've been working on it for about 6 months. Now they're going to come back, and anything we mark on the maps, they're going to take back with them. And we haven't marked anything on the maps because the maps are, to me, are so outdated that we want to see what they're bringing down to us before we can actually do
So
very much.
are they actually going to update the floodplain, or no?
Well, not at this time.
Okay. It's just,
They're in the process of starting that. Yeah, right now there's no. I guess we'll find out more tomorrow. And I'll get you the time. Like I say, I'll go down when you guys doing your commission discussion right at the end of the meeting. I'll give you the exact time.
okay.
And that's the end. That's all I have for drainage, unless someone has some questions on it.
Question on it? Okay.
We're in contact with Representative Hawley. We do have one landowner that's upset over drain tile and ruining some fields, so we went up and GPS the outlet, and we're gonna take some maps over to Representative Hawley and let him take a look, and even invite Representative Hawley up to the farm if he'd like to go up. But other than that, the drainage side, we're just holding our own right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I guess I would look for a motion to adjourn the Brookings County Drainage Board and reconvene as Brookings County Commissioners.
So move. Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Miller,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Wyseth,
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, number 11 on our agenda, Commission Department Director report.
My report was included in your packet. The first thing was we've done some research on the volunteer board appointments. I included a policy that Pennington County has on making appointments. If you're interested in something like that, I can sure kind of revamp their policy. I think it's a pretty clear, concise policy. I can do something like that for Brookings County, so we have something in place. Right now we don't. There's never been a time where we've had many applicants for positions, so if that's something you want me to look at doing, I can sure do that. But right now, as I've also discussed, how other counties make the appointments, it sounds like they do something very similar to us. Sometimes the applicants are here at the meeting and they'll do an interview type style thing, but everything is done in open session because they don't consider these people employees. So that's where I'm at with that. If you want me to do that policy, I can sure draft something and get it back to you.
The problem is that policy isn't going to change how we actually do it, and that's where the rub was with some.
Right.
Their policy had a couple of wrinkles in it, and it did have many outs, too. I don't know how many times it mentioned. We can change our mind at any time. This is just a rough draft, but it did have a couple of wrinkles, paper ballots and things like that.
So, I've updated the 2017 calendar for commission meetings. That was included in your packet, but I also handed out a hard copy this morning, so you have that available to you. The only switch that we made was the December 26th moved it from a Tuesday to a Thursday at the end of next year, because coming off of the Christmas holiday. Brookings Day at the Capitol has been set to get on your calendars. It's Wednesday, January 18th. I'm sure there will be additional information and signups, but I wanted you to have that information so you could get it on your calendars now. I said as of the time of this report, all of this next part has changed as far as the Intergovernmental Conference and the Legislative Preview Luncheon. Both will be Monday, December 5th. The Intergovernmental Conference is going to start at 10 o'clock, and this is out at Swiftel Center. That's going to run right up until 11:30, and that's when the doors open for the pre-legislative luncheon. with David Owen in his presentation. So we have to RSVP for that. Do you all plan on attending both of those events on the 5th? Yes, yes. Yes, Tom, yes. Okay, and I will find out from Leanne later. But so yes, both of those events are now on the 5th. Instead of the intergovernmental conference being after the luncheon, it's going to be before the luncheon. In my report was the Military Times article. I think I've emailed that out to you as well, but wanted you to have that, with SDSU being ranked as 8th of best 4-year schools, and it's best for vets, college 2017 rankings. I've also been asked to have you folks look at the gym reimbursement policy. That has not changed for a number of years. I included the policy. It's in the italicized print on my report. I could bring that up here. This is something, if you're interested in changing those reimbursement amounts, it's something I wanted to get you thinking about it anyway. We're going to be doing a complete revision with multiple changes to the handbook coming up probably the beginning of 2017. So this is something that if we want to change those reimbursement amounts, I think that would be the time to do it when we're reapproving the full handbook. But I've been asked to have you look at that now. Those reimbursement amounts, if you're interested in changing those at all.
Did someone think that we needed to change them?
Someone would like, I believe they would like to see them increased some due to the increase in expense of memberships. Right now, like I said, we have very few employees that take advantage of this. We only have about four or five that routinely turn in their hours and get this reimbursement. But I don't remember how long these particular amounts have been in place, but it's been quite a while. I don't think this has been updated for some time. And gym memberships, I'm sure, have continued to go up.
I know it's been discussed since I've been a commissioner.
Okay.
Can we find out what those rates are?
Well, the average membership costs are like $40 to $60 per month, is when Laura and I did some looking at it. So
the total cost of the county's been $40 to $60 a month. So
No,
No,
the average
that's
cost
gym
of it.
membership.
but we only allow $30 as the max. How are we paying 40 to 60?
we're not paying 40 to 60. That's the average cost of a
Oh, you're just
membership
stating
for the
that.
employee.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, my fault.
Yep.
Should it be?
Well, I look as a nice incentive, but to help them along, to encourage them, but
I mean, Larry just brought up a good point. Should we change that to a percentage rather than an amount? So if they go there 8 times, they get 25%. They go there 10 times, they get 40% and 60%, or depending on then what their costs are. And so we're not paying for the whole thing, so they're not, going up and saying $100 a month, but that could, they would have to pay also the difference. So
I guess
Yeah.
I got a question, and straighten me out, but I don't even know what our deal is in town. Obviously, if you look at me, I haven't been in a gym in a long time. So, but there's some you just swipe a card, go in and do your thing, and some have like massages or coaches or whatever. So if we do a percentage, if one picks a $500 a month one, so we're going to pay 25% of that, and we're only going to pay 25% of one that goes and does a swipe card. So I'm just wondering if a dollar amount would be more appropriate. That's, I mean, I don't even know what's out there.
There are different plans that different membership levels.
You can get a trainer.
Yeah.
That you work with a trainer every time you go there, and that's
Yep.
obviously more expensive. Yep.
I'd like to think about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get, the difference in price makes a difference, obviously, too. I mean, even $40 to $60 paying half, or paying 25% or all those. So, I don't know.
I'm with thinking about it for just a bit.
And like I said, I mean, I think the time to make the change and to approve it would be at the time we update the handbook.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll think about it, and then we can bring it up when is the handbook, is that something to be done before the end of the year?
No.
Okay.
No, with everything else going on right now, I don't think we'll probably have time to get it all. Laura's been constantly making changes, and so we've got something that's kind of a working draft with changes, but we should be able to present that shortly after the first of the year. The other thing is I think I've visited with all of you now, we will have a special executive session on November 28th. That is a Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and of course we'll get an agenda out for that. Other things coming up, we have the 8-county meeting tomorrow. I think Tom, Stephanie, and Larry are all registered to go to that. It's over in DeSmet, starts at noon. And then next Thursday, Friday, offices are closed because of Thanksgiving. So, do you have any other questions for me?
Well, I'd just like to revisit your research. And the Pennington County one was rather long, actually, but Leanne's not here to offer her opinion. I guess I don't want you to waste a lot of time, but I wouldn't mind seeing you tune it up and have it on our agenda before we have the agenda on the vote. And then we can tune up that policy and have a policy in place at the time of the vote for extension, which is next meeting, right? So, you go up and down on what she does.
We won't have it in place because we won't have, unless we vote on it prior to.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
It also includes term limits on there also.
Yeah.
Well, that's where she would have to tune it up to our world a little bit. But if you're not interested, that's fine. I was been willing to look at it, I guess.
I think we previously went through this where we talked about putting something in writing and more of a policy, and my recollection is the board opted not to go down that route at that time. I mean, you have to remember Pennington has exponentially more volunteers and boards than we do, so it's understandable why they need a policy like this. But, I think if that's something you guys want, we could make it work. I think at the end of the day, you're still just picking the volunteers that you believe would best serve on the boards. And I don't think that policy really deviates from that concept. So, our recommendation, I think, from staff to you is really to just vet the individuals that are applying, have those conversations at the public session about who you think would be best qualified or best fit. I think it certainly would be feasible to have them come in and visit if you ever had questions for the applicants. That's not really something we've done before. But I think if you're going to try to do a policy and appoint new people,
I would probably wait to do the policy after the appointments for 2017 are in place. You have already made most of them without a policy in place. I think I would caution you in setting a policy for this particular situation because you haven't done that yet for the rest of them. And you have done the rest of them as you have done in the past. And
I agree.
so-
And the bottom line is, guys, we are elected officials. We've got to make the hard decisions, and it's a public thing. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I'm old, so probably I am old-fashioned. But I just believe that if it's not broke, why do we have to fix it? And this is how we've done these appointments. And typically, we've not had extra people wanting in, but we have had numerous times when there's been one or two. And so we've had to make the hard decisions, and that's what we're sitting up here for. And so I don't think we need a policy. And I think we rock on, we finish our board appointments, and we make the hard decisions.
You okay with that? Waiting for the different policy. I'm not sure. I guess we need a policy. I'm not sure that we do, but
I don't know if
I'm
it's
willing. I'm willing to listen to it. I guess I'm not saying I'm dead set against it, but there's a lot of. It seemed like that last sentence they had in there that if special circumstances arise, you can deviate from this policy, and it's like, so what's a special exception? It's like, what do you have the policy for then? If you what's a special exception? So
Well, it had a lot of outs.
it did. It did.
It had a line up above there too that.
Right.
I think the only area that, is important that we are consistent on is our notification process. And I think we have a good procedure down now for that. And that's the only one where it would be important that we're very uniform in how we handle those. But I think we are doing that. So.
All right. Well, I think what we should probably do is next meeting, it's first week in December, or first Tuesday in December that we're meeting, we'll make our decision on the extension board.
Yes.
And then I think we should, decide if we want to move forward with the policy there. I don't think we'll have it done in time. I'm not sure that's, I think Stacy brings up a good point there that we'd be deviating from the previous appointments. So we want to stay consistent. But is this something we want to look at for the first of the year? To look at it and make a decision on that? I guess the question is, I don't want Stacy to go through a bunch of work, put a policy due. She's done some research already. If we don't want a policy, and I guess I'd like to, Leanne's not here, so it's hard, to like to get a consensus on it a little bit. But I know, do we want her to?
No, I'm not interested in her doing any work if nobody's interested.
Right. So everybody's thought on a policy.
You might have guessed
Yeah. Shocker.
I don't know if it's policy. It's just a process. You got 6. I don't know who's going to be first, who's going to be last.
Well, and that's going to be a tough.
And how they were put in order on our agenda. That's my concern.
Well, that's one of the questions I'm going to have to try to figure out on how we take a vote on this and how we handle this as chairman. So I don't know if we.
And I don't know if there was a rhyme or reason as to how they went on the agenda the first time. I don't think the order on the agenda had anything to do with qualifications or I think we'd put the incumbents and maybe the newest candidate last. I don't think there was really any rhyme or reason to how we did the agenda when we did it 2 weeks ago. So, but if there's something that the chair would like to see, he needs to let me know how to draft that for the December 6th meeting. But.
Well, we'll discuss that, I guess. We'll have to, because we're going to have to discuss how we're going to handle it one by one as a group, because we could end up, some people want one, no votes, and 4, and then we'll find out that there's not enough people
on the board.
Then all of a sudden we have to reopen it and redo that. I don't know. I don't know. It's almost a process of maybe, and this is just throwing stuff out, talking there, that we go through each individual one, and the ones that get a unanimous vote are on, and the ones that do not then get put into another pool, and we discuss them because it narrows it down. So if that might take, again.
Unless I make a motion that we keep the board as is.
Well, you could do that. And so then you'd have to get a second. So, but either way, we can try to figure that out, I guess. We'll talk about that and see if we want to go individually or not, or a full board. So, but anyway, that's happening the first week in December, first Tuesday in December.
Yes.
So policy-wise, back to that question. Do we want her to do a policy?
There's not interest.
Okay, not enough interest.
Okay.
So we'll stay with what we have. Okay, anything else?
No. Unless
right.
you have anything else for me, no, I don't have anything.
Okay. All right, number 12, Deputy State's Attorney Report.
I have 2 staffing questions or updates. Since we now know that you are stuck with me for 4 more years, we've had to make some considerations and look at some things in our office. So Marcy's Law passed, which is going to be significant work for my office. My goal is to just see how it implements, see what the workload looks like, and then when we get to the budgeting season next year, kind of update you and see what's feasible and what's not. And obviously, we understand that'll be constrained by the budget, but just to give you an idea, I think the Minnehaha County State's Attorney told me, I think they have 3 victim witness assistants currently, and they are asking for 4 more because of the demands. 4 more? Yeah. So I don't know if they'll get that or not, but that's what they are anticipating the needs will be. And right now we have a part-time victim witness assistant, a legal assistant that does part-time vic wit work and part-time legal assistant work. And my thought is she will probably have to become full-time vic wit work, and then her legal assistant duties will be pushed on to the rest of the staff. But there will be some transition with my office just because of the difference of how things will be done. So my hope is to try it out, see how it goes, and then report back to you at budget season next year, and hope that you're open if the demands really are warranted. Then my other question is, so you have approved that the 3 attorney positions can continue in our office, so we will be hiring another attorney. What I would really like to do is to just have a few weeks where they could start the end of this year so that on January 2nd, I'm not throwing them into the deep end and saying, start your job. We had not budgeted for that because we had no idea what would happen, and certainly we couldn't allocate for funds that we didn't know if we would need or not. And I haven't talked to Vicki about what the financial implication would be, but what I'd be looking at is if we could get someone hired within the next couple of weeks here, if we could have them start beginning of December or even 2 weeks in December, just to have somewhat of a heads up before they started in January full time. When I started, I had about 3 months overlap with Mark Cradaville, and that was absolutely instrumental. I mean, we are a growing county. We have a significant amount of work to do. Probably we could have a full-time civil attorney in our office, and I just want to make sure that someone feels properly trained before I say you're up and running, you're on your own. So I can get the numbers from Vicki and we can look at it. I'm sure that's what your question would be. Are you open to the idea, or is it a nope, we didn't budget for it, it's not happening?
Okay, the old hard you-know-what's going to talk again. But here's, I worked for lawyers for 37 years. And it takes more than 2 weeks to know what the heck is going on in an attorney's office. I mean, I'm not sure that 2 weeks will give anybody enough time to know. I mean, they would know the routine of your office, but it takes a long time to get acclimated in any attorney's office.
I agree with you, and I guess here's my reasoning is we don't have enough people physically to transition before January. So like if I were to start looking at Clyde's felony files, Terry were to start working on the magistrate files, then we don't have an attorney to handle the juvenile and A&N cases because those court sessions are at the exact same time. And I'm not saying Clyde's going to do nothing, but we really need to be working with him as we prepare to transition. I mean, we really all have 3 very separate practices that intertwine but also are their own entities, and our court sessions can be at the same time. So right now, I mean, we have to continue doing what we're doing until December 30th, and then January 2nd, it's just going to be an automatic switch over. So my thought was if we had someone in the office that can help attend some of the court sessions, they can cover some court, they can start to get the feel. I know it will obviously take significantly more time than that, but it's just not feasible for us to do any transition then until January. So Clyde and I discussed it, and we wanted to at least approach the commission and see if that was something they were willing to do.
Well, unfortunately, I've never worked for an attorney, but if it's that difficult and 2 weeks is enough, now that puts her, and this makes it even more important that we start earlier because we're going to be 2 weeks behind. If we wait till January 1st, we're going to be further behind. At least we get 2 weeks knocked off, whatever the appropriate time is, which I have no idea. If it's that important, why wait till January 1st? Because now we're going to be way behind.
I guess
I just had a payroll question. if the person started the second week of December, is their actual pay going to come out of 216 or 217 when they get their first check?
216 if they start.
216,
Do we know,
yeah.
is that budget already over? I mean, is there anything left
Well,
in the
the
budget?
issue is, I don't know where Clyde's final payout's coming out of. I think we have to do a
That-
contingency for
That has to be taken out of contingency because nobody's budget would be able to handle that. So
Right.
the payout will be contingency.
So my thought was, we're doing a contingency anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps this could be added to it.
Here's my thought, I guess. You know, I'm not sure the idea of giving another attorney 2 more weeks to get going will help that much. But I do agree with your point of the changeover of an office. It's over 40 years since we've had a changeover in the office. And she's going to have to get caught up on the files that Clyde's working on and that whole office if she's not already. And I don't have a problem in investing in another person to help with that turnover to cover some of that load that's going on. You know, that new attorney then hopefully will stay and be caught up, but 2 weeks where it's going to take them a long time anyway. But that changeover, I think, is a legit reason because it hasn't happened. We haven't needed it, and I wouldn't even have a problem, you know, starting in first part of December to work on that changeover. So when January 2nd comes, we're not saying, well, we had a changeover, we're behind, we can't get here, and Clyde's not here now, and we're trying to get caught up and stuff rather than, you know, I'm looking, I guess, at the service we provide to our citizens to make sure there is not a smooth transition because we haven't had to go through this transition for an awful long time. So I don't have a problem investing in another person for even starting a month just to try to keep that transition and that on top of everything. So I guess that's my opinion.
The other thing I'd let you know is Marcy's law goes into effect tomorrow. So I have to transition my staff tomorrow to make sure that it's being addressed because anytime it's viewed that the state's attorney's office violates someone, a perceived victim, someone that's not a traditional victim, if it's perceived that we have violated their constitutional rights now, they will be suing the county. So,
How do you even get up to date on that? I mean, really?
well, I mean, we have a copy of the amendment and we interpret it. And
But
I mean, isn't some of that stuff you were doing previously? I mean, some of the stuff was, right?
correct, for all violent crime victims, yeah, we were already doing that. But now it applies to anyone that has a perceived financial, emotional, other harm. So like Casey's that gets a pack of beer stolen, we have to give them the same rights and notifications as a rape victim. So every phone call, every letter, every correspondence, every communication, they have those same rights. If we violate them and they feel they're violated, they will can sue the county for having their constitutional rights violated, which we won't be able to represent ourselves on, so then we're going to have to outsource counsel. So, just so you know.
Well, I had another point I was going to make for this, but yours was so good, Ryan, I'm just going to go with yours. We've been in the same situation for 40 years, and this is going to be different. And I think the investment will be worth it. I don't think criminals take 2 weeks off. I mean, unless it's they tell everybody for the holiday season to have the Christmas spirit, and then it's 40 below during January, probably cuts down on crime. But I don't see anybody taking a break. No, that was a good point, Ryan.
Go for it. If you can get the hiring process done in 2 weeks.
Okay. We got three of them.
Oh, yes.
Okay. If you could let us know on that.
But I
that'd be
would
fine.
like to know the implications.
Yeah. Okay. Commissioner reports. Larry, you get to start off.
I guess on November 1st, the commission did a brief Novita tour of the parking lot and the office. We were a little late for the tour. They'd moved it up an hour due to the darkness coming, so hopefully we can get in there maybe this week.
Yeah, I'm planning today.
Today.
Yeah.
On the 3rd, did a opening of Cinnamon 8 there that night. That was a great deal. Pretty nice movie theater. And on the 7th, attended 4-H recognition night briefly. Had spaghetti supper. Then went to the hospital for a social and dinner there and a tour of the hospital. And on the 8th, we did a executive session. We also toured the OAC. On the 10th, we had canvass the votes. And I guess that evening I went out to the mayor's awards night. Very interesting. What some of the individuals in town received awards for restoration of some historical houses and different deals in town. And that's about it.
Okay. Stephanie.
November 1st, we had department head reviews. November 3rd, I also attended the Cinema 8 grand opening. It's a lovely addition that he did, and he treated us all. There were numerous people there to free movies, and I'd recommend those seats. They're really nice movie seats. November 7th, I first stopped in at the 4-H recognition banquet and then went to the hospital dinner and tour, and it's going to be really nice, really nice when it's all finished. November 8th was the executive session, the outdoor adventure tour, followed by a bridge tour. November 9th, I went to the Women in Leadership Luncheon, and November 10th, we canvassed the votes, followed by an executive session, and that's all I have.
All right.
Okay. Well, the participate in the reviews on the 1st. The 2nd, I participated in the hospital appreciation for our new clinic staff and the ever-growing specialists that are coming to town, which is great, and appreciation to Rick Holm for his years of service. And also on the 7th, they did a hospital tour, and that day, Commissioner Krogman and I visited with ICAP over some potential affordable housing opportunities that have come up. And then the tour of the OAC, Bridges, 10th, Canvas, and executive session. So almost where you guys were. I don't have anything different to tell you.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Okay. Again, the first, department head reviews. The second, I went to that Brookings Community Planning Summit. And I told you guys I was heading to that on behalf of the commission. And the attendees was the Brookings School District, South Dakota State University, BDC and Vision Brookings, us as a Brookings County, and the city of Brookings. And went very well. I think one of the main thing that came out of this is the reason we were doing this is kind of the word came out as alignment, and kind of figuring out what's alignment mean. What we need to do is align ourselves with, see what the goals and objectives of each are, and see if we can help align ourselves to help achieve those. So, for example, BDC may have an idea of a growth or an issue that they have, where the school district can help align their same type of vision, their same thing. So we can kind of get all going in the same direction, that we can help with each other's goals and getting to those and get those achieved. Not necessarily, do those, but help participate in them, that entity can achieve their goals by the help of each other entity. And it was very, informative, very interesting. SDSU, that was very interesting of what their plans are, especially with President Dunn taking over and what his accomplishments, what he's looking to do. The city of Brookings came, things they're working on, a comprehensive master plan, which we knew that. Their bicycle master plan that, could incorporate county areas. We could stay in touch with them on that areas. If you can turn around and make a bike path to Volga or Aurora, and even all the way to Minnesota or north, all different types of things where we can incorporate that. They're going to do a Swiftel Center strategic marketing plan, and then the Park District Master Plan, which could affect drainage for us. That area where the soccer fields are, and that's where they were talking about the, that recreation center. There's a lot of water that goes in that direction, and that's an area that maybe us as a county planners, county drainage could have some input on what's being used for that land out there and how it affects our drainage into the county and different things like that. So those were, quite a bit of just some of the few things that we talked about. So, and the communication is always huge. It's always great to have that with all of them. But, I mean, it's great. And we had the leaders of all of them there. President of South Dakota State University was there. The superintendent was there, so the mayor and the deputy mayor. And so it was a good thing. And I think it's a great deal that Mayor Reed wants to keep this going. And I think everybody wants to keep going to that. And I don't think it's something we're going to do every month or anything. We need to be able to get stuff done to be able to talk, and that's probably there. Maybe it's twice a year, maybe it's every quarter. But I think it was a good summit, and it was a good reason to get together, and I think there's a lot of good feelings in the room there about working together and not trying to, just say this is our stuff, do with what you want. Maybe we can help you out. So that was a good thing there. So, and then on the 7th, I met again with Tom, with ICAP, with Cindy and ICAP, and then we had to the Brookings Health System event, went to that, and then had the executive session on the 8th, and then the tour of our county with the bridges, and we saw the Sinai shop almost completed there and everything, so did that, and I'm going on the Novita tour tonight, and then BDC tomorrow at noon, meeting stuff there, so that's what I had. Any questions, comment?
No, well, I like the summit.
Yeah.
Communication, that was like I said, when Yankton came up here, that was the one thing that we stressed, and that was great. Mike, did I catch that you in the newspaper, are going to do a story on the Koreans? Did those pictures make it, the Korean Medal honor people, or did I miss that in the paper? Or would that be a good story?
I did a press release. I did a press release and send it to all of the papers.
With the pictures?
Yes.
Whoever that, okay.
Dick, a question for you. That rehabilitation grant that we just approved here, and you saw they're doing are they starting that now? And
No, what they'll be doing is putting together the project and then they'll get it ready for bid. So it won't be bid till after the first of the year,
Okay.
I would suspect.
Okay, so something that we will have to pay 20% of, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay, so that list of 20% that we've agreed to, that's going to be done next year, that's one thing we were talking about, I think I mentioned it before, is putting that list of money that we've already spent, I guess, on whether it's 20% matching or 20, whatever we have, we've coming up for next year, so this will be on that list.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, anything else?
Commissioner?
Yes.
That meeting tomorrow is 10 a.m.
10 a.m., and that's at
Right
right here?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect.
Vicki, do you know, any of you guys going over to the 8-county meeting?
Yes, Bev is going, and so is Kristen. I had planned to go, but with the auditors here, I think I better stay here. But they are both going. So, and we have the Traverse reserved, so I mean, anybody can go. And if you guys are going to use it, we'll make other arrangements, so no problem.
Okay. No, you guys go ahead and plan on it.
I'm going to stay afterwards with Joe Jensen. If I go, a family or a conflict came up, but if I go, I'm just going to stay with Commissioner Jensen for a while.
I plan on taking Vicky's place. I wasn't initially going to go, but I have an appointment back here in town at 3, so I'm going to have to leave by about 2.
That leaves you and me, boo-boo.
I can leave when you do.
So, all right. Anything else? I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. What time is it? Nice. 4:10.
Marty, I need to talk to you.
I need to talk to you.
What was the